Hello and welcome to our program on the suffering church where God weeps. Many viewers do not realize that Israel, although overwhelmingly Jewish, also has Arab citizens who are Christians, Muslims and Druze. Arab citizens constitute about 20% of the country's population. It is therefore my pleasure to introduce to you today Dr. Geries Khoury, who has been engaged in interfaith dialogue in Israel for many years and who says that Jews and Muslim Israelis have little knowledge of Arab Christians. Thank you, Dr. Geries, for being with us today.
Thank you.
The first question I would like to ask you is, what is your nationality?
I am an Arab Palestinian.
But I'm sure you also have an Israeli passport. How is that possible?
Of course, I am an Israeli citizen and I have an Israeli identity card. But as I mentioned, I am an Arab and I am a Palestinian and I am an Israeli citizen and I am a Christian. And that's mean not all Arabs are Muslims, but there are Arab Christians and their presence in the Middle East and in the Arab countries is not really a new thing, but it goes back to the time of the apostles.
So to what church do you then belong?
This is another good question. I am a Greek Catholic or Melkite. And also the denominational name is another issue to be discussed. I said I am an Arab and now I am saying I am a Greek Catholic. I am not Greek, I am an Arab, but this name is a church denominational name which I have since many years. I hope one day we will really be able to identify in a clearer way our Christian identity as Catholics, as Melkites, as Christians in the Middle East.
And then one other question, what is then your current job?
I am the director of Al Liqa Centre for interfaith and for contextual theology in the Holy Land. And also I am the dean of the theological faculty at Marie institutions in a billion. These institutions headed by Bishop Ilyas Shakur.
Now we have heard many things. You're Arab, you're a Palestinian, you're a Greek Catholic, you're a director of an Arab institution. So what then is your mother tongue to just continue our whole thing?
My mother tongue is Arabic, but of course, since I am a citizen in Israel, so I do speak Hebrew fluently. And I studied in Italy, so my Italian is very good. And you are hearing me speaking a little bit in English.
So if I may ask you a very personal question, what kind of book, for example, are you reading at the moment, is lying at your bedside?
At the moment, I am reading one of the church fathers, Saint Sophronius, because I am planning to write a book about the encounter between the Church of Jerusalem and Islam in 638.
Let us go back maybe to your family first. Your parents, I'm sure, are also Palestinians, or
yes.
Are they also Israelis?
No, my parents are Arab, Palestinians, are Christians. My mother, my father are Christians, and our roots going back to the time of Jesus Christ. So the Arab Christian community is not a new thing in the Middle East or in the Arabic world, but does have very deep roots in the Arabic history and culture and literature.
What then has been the most important lesson for you from your mother?
Despite the suffering, she was always praying. And she was saying that strength could be by praying and asking the help of Jesus in order to overcome such a problem. And that was a great lesson to us, to hope while you are suffering. And this is the best lesson which personally I learned from my mother. And today, despite the suffering of our people, I still hope and I still see that we will have better future, peaceful future in which we can live all peacefully and as brothers and sisters.
The Palestinians, I think, are still suffering today. What do you think is the biggest suffering for the Palestinians at the moment?
To be without nation, without identity card, to be under oppression and to be forgotten by the international community.
What is the oppression of the Palestinians?
I mean, living in the occupied territories and in Gaza, they are not free. They are oppressed. Occupation is not a nice thing. Occupation is always ugly, whatever the occupier is, if Israel or others, but occupation means you are taking the freedom of the others.
You said you are living in Bethlehem. That is the heart of our Christianity. At the
Yes.
same time, you're Arab.
Yes.
Is that a very special combination?
Well, to be in Bethlehem is really significant. The city of the birth of Jesus, the Prince of Peace. But at the same time, I am living in an occupied city. And this is the conflict between what should be and what we have. And to be an Arab Christian in Bethlehem is really not new for me, because the Arab Christians always were in Bethlehem since many centuries. They have their own culture, they have their own history, their own literature, even their theology, their philosophy, and they are a part of the Arab world, and they part of the Islamic culture and of the Islamic history. I mean the Arabic Islamic culture and Arabic Islamic history, because also not all Muslims are Arabs. So there are Muslims with different histories and with different culture. But we who are living in such a cultural context, we are influenced, and we were influential also on Islam and on the Islamic history and on the Islamic culture.
Now you say yourself, your dialogue with the Islamic world, you are an expert on interfaith dialogue. What have you reached so far already in your dialogue with the Muslims?
Well, I personally do believe in dialogue. And not only I am interested in dialogue with Islam, but also we had a lot to do with Jews. We have also a Christian, Muslim, Jewish dialogue and Christian, Jewish dialogue done by us in our center, and we were the first group in the Holy Land who were open to have very open and sincere dialogue with the Jews. Now, concerning the Arab-Christian-Muslim dialogue, it's not a new thing. In the Middle Ages, this dialogue was so rich. There are thousands of non-edited manuscripts were written in the Middle Ages between the 9th to the 12th, 13th century. Dialogue was on a very high level between the caliphs and between patriarchs and bishops, between Muslim scholars and Muslim Christians, and it was dialogue on issues related to the daily life, but also it was a theological dialogue.
What does
And
it mean, a theological dialogue?
theological dialogue means that people discuss together Trinity, incarnation, prophecy, the eternal life, Christology. It was really something which today people are not dealing with it so much, but such a thing was dealt with in the Middle Ages, and unfortunately are not many, only few manuscripts were studied and edited, and thousands of unedited manuscripts still in different libraries in Europe and in the Middle East. And I hope one day that those beautiful and rich manuscripts will be published in order to let the people know more about history and about what's done in the past, in order to be encouraging way for the present and for the future.
What is the context today for your center?
The context today of our dialogue is really how Christians and Muslims could have a life together peacefully, to know each other and to respect our differences. Dialogue is not a propaganda. Dialogue is not to say that my faith is better than yours. The aim of dialogue is to know ourselves and to know the others more deeply, and to know the other faiths as it is, not as what I would like to see or to wish or to interpret. And
is that why you started this center, the Al Liqa Centre?
We started the Al Liqa Centre because we felt at the 80th, in 1980, some tension in the Middle East. And I think that tension was due to the civil war in Lebanon, to the Islamic revolution in Iran, the growth of Islamic movements inside Israel and in the West Bank or in Gaza or in other Arab countries. And that really gave me the impression that if we don't start to speak one with the other and to know the others, things will become more complicated and tension will be really a problem for our life together. That's why we gathered a group of religious leaders, Christians and Muslims, and scholars from both sides, and we discussed such a matter, and all agreed that there is need to meet and to learn one about the other. And personally, I believe, and I still believe, that the enemy of dialogue is ignorance. When we know each other better, it's easier to become friendly and to have a life together peacefully. When we ignore one the other, we are becoming really, in a way, there should be certain enmity, and we will not, become friends because you are living with certain suspicions. But if I know my neighbor, means I am going to have a better relationship and a better life. And this is the aim of dialogue, is not really to baptize the Muslims or to Islamize the Christians.
So you think you now have been accepted as well by Arab Christians, Arab Muslims, by Jewish? Everybody has accepted your center so far?
Our center really does have a credibility in the Arabic environment. Our president is the patriarch, the Latin patriarch in Jerusalem, Monsignor Sabbah. In our board of trustees, there are many Muslim professors and sheikhs. One of the biggest, or the Muslim personalities, the chief judge of the Muslims in Palestine, Sheikh Tamimi. He is a friend of Al Liqa, and he's always there. So we have very deep credibility in our Arabic environment. With the Jewish side, we have good relations. The last meeting which we had with a Jewish organization, it was only 7 weeks ago, where we discussed how the different identities will influence the interpretation of the Bible. And it was a good meeting with the scholars, rabbis, and dialogue is not an easy thing. It's not a journey. It's not a picnic. Needs patience and needs something inside your heart. Needs patience, needs faith, and faith is the only bridge between you and the others, because through my Christian faith does not only help me to have a patient, but it helps me to see in the face of the other the image of God, which we all were created on His image. So I see in him not an enemy, but a brother and a sister with whom I have to meet, to contact, to dialogue, and to become a friend. And friendship is one of the important results of dialogue. When you have friendship with the others, means you trust them, they trust you, and if people trust you and you trust the others, you can make really miracles.
Is there then a future?
Should be. I believe that we should have a future there, because without our presence in the Middle East and Arabic countries, this would harm both the Muslims and the Western communities. I'm saying this because the Arab Christians in the past were a real bridge, really, between the old and new Islamic culture. The Arab Christians did the translations, the Arab Christians opened the schools. Many Muslim scholars were students of Arab Christian philosophers in the Middle Ages, and many Arab Christians worked with the Muslims in the Middle Ages, and through the translation of the Greek philosophy, through Christians and Muslims arrived to the West. Today, the presence of the Arab Christians in the Middle East is so important because they know the Muslims, they are part of the Arabic culture, they have many things in common with the Western communities, faith and culture and ethics, and thanks to the connections between the churches in the West and our churches. So the Arab Christians could be really the best bridge between the Middle Eastern culture and between Islam and the Western Christian faith and Western culture and identity.
But you say could be.
Yes.
Maybe you can make it more concrete, because I think
the Arab Christians are the best bridge. They should be used by both communities, by the Western community and by the Islamic community, in order to such a gap between both communities, both worlds, will be minimized more and more and more.
Are they already used by both communities?
are not well used, are used but are not well used, and we could have best role and a better role between the two worlds. And I hope that such a role will be encouraged really by the Westerns and by the Muslims in the Middle East, because today this is the importance of our presence, to let the Muslims know more about the Western culture and faith, and to let the Westerns know more about the Arabic culture, Arabic history, about Islam and about Muslims. And knowing more means minimizing doubts and conceptual ideas and stereotyping and all such a thing.
So who can give you this courage to get these parties more together?
I mean, I have to say, the churches in our church sisters in the West are trying to help the Christians in the Middle East. I don't know, Church in Need is helping our center in order to be able to do such a work. And we need really more encouragement from the Western brothers and sisters to edit what I mentioned, manuscripts from the Middle Ages, to let the Arab Christians themselves, they don't know deeply their identity and their Arab Christian role in the history. And if we know more about ourselves and about what we did in the history, we will be rooted more deeply in our land and in our countries, and this makes immigration less of what it's today. Because I'm saying this because if we know our identity better, means we, not myself, but those who don't know their Arab Christian identity, if we are helping them, they will be more rooted in their society, in their community, with their Muslim brothers and sisters, and in the Middle East. And although we are a minority in the Middle East, although we are a minority in the Holy Land, we are less than 2%, but I still remember the words of Jesus to the small Christian community around him when he told them, "Don't be afraid. You are in this world, but you are not from this world. You are the salt of the land." We have a unique mission, a unique vocation, a unique witness to Jesus in the midst of such troubled, confused context. Our voice, our Christian voice, the word of Jesus should continue to be strong and strong in the Middle East. And this cannot be without your help and without letting our Muslim brothers and sisters understand the importance of the Christian presence in the Middle East. I hope this will be done, and I hope such a voice will be always a prophetical one and be heard by all Arabs and non-Arabs.
Do you think then one day peace is possible in the Holy Land, in Israel?
I think in the Jewish faith, in the Islamic faith, and in the Christian faith, peace is the center, because without it we can't be. If we are not in peace one with the other, we cannot be in peace with our God.
Thank you very much, Dr. Geries Khoury, for this explanation of what peace means for you, and I hope one day peace will be. And I thank you for watching our program Where God Weeps. And if you want to know more how you can help the Center, Al Liqa Centre, in the Holy Land, then please log on to our website, which is posted at the end of our program. and we hope to see you again next week. Take care.